Let's talk about a bladed jig hack that I've missed out on and have not gave a shot. And I'm sharing this with you guys to see if you have, or if you have not, for you to try. But guys, welcome to the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. Jimmy Eachling, I go by Coach E, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. I love the bladed jig. And we're about to talk about a trailer used on the bladed jig. I have kind of some ideas close to right here. Something I've not tried and missed out on. Takahori Omori has had two recent successes in tournaments, big tournaments in the last year, and I'm sharing this due to it's February right now. Depending where you're at, the bladed jig is going to be thrown soon, if not right now. And this is something he's done on two different lakes. He just had a really good event with it at Lake Conroe. It didn't last throughout the whole event, but man, he came off and had a bang with this type of trailer and how he's fishing the bladed jig. But then he also did it at Lady Lake in Alabama last year in the Red Crest in March. So guys, two different scenarios, two different lakes, kind of times a year, in a way to where, depending where you're at, it's going to help you out. But guys, on it is the trailer. And I'm going to show it to you. I don't have the trailer, but he is using a big boot tail type of swim bait on these bladed jigs. So what I got right here is this is a jackhammer, and this is a giant spunk shad. This is a 6.5-inch spunk shad. And guys, I'm also going to share another type of trailer that I know guys had success with in the summer on a bladed jig that kind of goes to this bigger type of trailer. So guys, we all know the fluke. Okay, a fluke style soft plastic is really good. A straight tail bait is good on a bladed jig. And then you hear, like here, I got some boot tail types right here, but Takahori is using a giant one, a big one. And one of the things, he's using this bright yellow one, the chartreuse one. He's did it, like I said, at Lady Lake. He's doing it here at Conroe. And we're going to talk more on the areas he's fishing in, because also, guys, it was two different types of areas. Awesome, okay? Two different types of areas that he was using this, two different types of cover. He was kind of doing it. But here's just a normal jackhammer with a Kitech right here, a little boot tail style. Here's a Yum Scottsboro swim bait. But then, these straight tails are really good. And like here's a little Zaco. So I have a bunch of different types of trailers. But when you have this straight tail, it gives it more of the darting action. It kind of gives that chance to run freely, to where when you have a boot tail, it kind of keeps it in line. And he's using that big boot tail. So I don't have any big boot tail swim baits right now. I mean, I got a couple, but I didn't want to. I'm kind of using it for my Alabama rigs right now, and I got more of these. So just kind of let you look like something I think I missed out on is this bigger trailer. And what this bigger trailer does, of course, is a bigger presentation. It gives more vibrations in the water. The fish can see it further away. And that's one thing he's doing with that chartreuse. Like in that muddy water that he's fishing at Lady Lake, it's letting them fish see it so far away. One thing that Takahori is really good at, too, and I love Takahori, guys. I've been watching this dude since I was like, 16, 17. I've been fascinated by him. I think it's very, encouraging to see someone come from another country over here and compete and be very successful, and to live the dream, as you guys might think it is at times, living the dream of fishing. And he's been very successful in a classic. He's won multiple tournaments. He's always been good to watch. But one thing about it too, I think that he's really good at with these big baits is, like I saw at Lady Lake, he's fishing this thing shallow, pitching it, casting it, and not making much of a splash. That dude is pitching up to cover. He is being very precise with his presentation. But like I was saying earlier, the bigger baits, what it does is that, like in that color he's using, that chartreuse, those fish can see it further away. It's more of an action, more of a vibration in the water. Now, what I know you're asking me right now is, look at this bait. There's more plastic here, and the hook is right here. Now, one thing I'm going to say with that is, comparing it to this, I can see you missing more fish. I can see fish hitting it, not getting the hook. But guys, think of a big worm, for example. You might throw a 10, 12-inch big worm. That hook is only right there also. So comparing this to a 12-inch big worm, it's actually still a little smaller. So I would not as much, for my sake, being worried. Now, I know, like this last tournament, he's in Texas, big fish. But guys, Lady Lake, he's catching 2-pound spotted bass. And he's catching largemouth, but like that's a spotted bass, largemouth deal. And he was catching more largemouth, I know. I watched him catch some spots because that place is loaded with them. But that's something I wouldn't be afraid of. And like I said, guys, this is something I've not done. Okay, I've not done. I've not thrown the bigger ones on it. I have all these right here, as you guys seen. I've even made videos on, the creature styles on this. This right here, I believe he has a Strike King Rage Bug. I know you can do it this way. You can turn that thing sideways. So many different ways to do it, okay? Now, what Takahori was doing in both events, this last one at Conroe, he's fishing a flat where there's ditches, creek ditches, and there's grass. And these grass are positioned on the ditches. This is something I'm familiar with, fishing Lake Ouachita, fishing DeGray. I have lakes with grass, but also for me, I have a lowland reservoir. I fished also Millwood, where we're out there on these flats, these shallow flats, and there's ditches. These ditches are highways or intersections. And for me at Millwood, there's lily pad stems and wood. And for Talk, there was grass and probably wood mixed in as well. And these fish are just using these channels. They're coming up here, finding spots to spawn. They can spawn in the grass. They can be set up on the edge, looking for bait fish that's coming by as they're working back into the spawning flats. And why not throw a bigger type of bladed jig with the deal? Now at Conroe, he could be mimicking gizzard shad. There's bigger shad in those lakes, but at Lay Lake, which I'm not as familiar with on the Coosa River, I mean, that dude is throwing this big thing and catching fish, and it's something different. It's something that I don't think many people do. So for you, it kind of gives you an advantage. Now, the other one, okay, the other hack now, that with a bladed jig on trailers, and there's a lot of bladed jig videos out there, guys, but this is one I know people have done. It's more of a summer deal. I've even heard people do on TVA, but it's having a big worm. Like, here we go. This is just a 10-inch big worm. This is the V&M Baits Wild thing on a bladed jig, okay? So with that, of course, when you're reeling it, all that extra tail and actions go when you're reeling it, you know, and it's doing this thing. But what I know people do is throw this thing out and fish it just like you would a normal big worm. Just let this thing drag, but when you're hopping it and going, it gives that extra vibration, that sound that fish are not used to when you're fishing a traditional big worm. So that's something pretty interesting. And like I said, like earlier I said, looking at a big worm, your hook is normally about right here anyway. So, I mean, these fish, I mean, when they're really going to eat, they're going to swallow this thing. Now, for you, you're going to have to let them eat it. You can't just set the hook too soon, you know, as sometimes we can get kind of excited. But this is another little hack that I've not done and I probably should do more of. And next time I kind of go to some of my shallower lakes and even some of my grass lakes, it's something I do want to try. But I want to try it when I'm not having people with me, I'm doing on the water lesson, and I kind of want to test this on my own, okay? Guys, on the bladed jig, I like to throw it on a 7.2 or 7.3 rod right now. This is level NGX 7.2 medium heavy fast. I got a hair jig on it for the moment, so this hair jig rod is going to be the same thing as I have my bladed jig on. Also, spinnerbait is also something else I'll be putting it on. I know in some of my other recent years I've had a shorter rod for when I'm flipping this thing under cypress trees or when I'm pitching it, you know, in cover. So the shorter rod is good with it as well. But right now I'm throwing that 7.2 or 7.3 as well. And another little deal I'll share real quick, I know from my experience of fishing it shallow, I love it on monofilament line when I'm fishing it more in shallow cover. Like when I'm fishing them shallow cypress trees, I like it on that monofilament because it keeps it up higher in the column, because them fish, you know, are typically sometimes suspended on them cypress trees, and with that fluorocarbon might be under them and they're not looking down as well, so you're keeping it up above them. And just when I'm fishing some of that water 2 foot or less than flats, that monofilament seems to get me more bites. Let me know in the comments what it does for you, if it gets you more bites, if you've had success with it. I had one of my former anglers, he's a former student angler, who's a good friend now, Briar. That's one of his little hacks with it that I took many years ago, and it's been successful for me, guys. So let me know what you think about the big trailer on the bladed jig, guys. Now let's get into the Fate You segment. Okay, guys, on the Fate You segment, just one thing I'm just going to kind of share with this one is emotions. And I know as humans, emotions, we can ride them. I know, like in football games, when I was coaching and things were going your way, people were riding the emotions. Or before the game, you have the pregame speech, or the music and everything's going, or however you're getting there, you're riding the emotions. But then after that kickoff goes, and let's say you get the opening kickoff return for a touchdown or a big play right off the bat, the emotions are riding. But then as the game goes, it kind of settles in, and that's where I'm going to kind of go with today is, are you an emotion riding roller coaster? Do you ride your emotions, or do you let your faith, and do you let God kind of control? I say God kind of. Do you let God control you? And that's something that I know I've heard this at a sermon at a conference a long time ago, and the guy that did the message was wonderful on it. And I'm just going to try to share it real quick to you, because it's, it's something for you to think about. But it was like a 30-40 minute message. I was like, wow, this is legit. But in life we have our ups and downs, okay? But on those ups, where are you? Are you level-headed? Are you staying the course? Are you staying in God's word? And I know at times too, we kind of, when we drift away from the word, drift away from praying, we will ride them ride that highs and them lows. But let me just kind of share. So this was just my one thing I was going to share. Now, this verse here kind of made me think about it today. But this verse here is 2 Peter 1:5-6. It was kind of my little devotion that I thought about, this right here. But for this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with goodness, goodness with knowledge, knowledge with self-control, self-control with endurance, endurance with godliness. So when I saw that endurance with godliness, I was thinking, hey, this would be good to share is with your emotions. We need them to be controlled by godliness, okay? We don't need them to be controlled by us as humans, okay? Let me know what you think about it today. Thank you guys for watching the video. Appreciate all the feedback I get on the Faith Juice segments. It's very encouraging. Guys, stay tuned with us, and we'll see you on the next one.